If you look at a map, the Caspian looks like a sea, something that could connect to the rest of the world. But it doesn't actually. It's completely landlocked, cut off from every ocean on Earth. And that raises a deceptively simple question. What is the Caspian, really? The answer to that question isn't just an entry in a textbook. It determines who controls vast energy reserves, who has military access, and how 5 countries divide one of the most contested bodies of water on the planet. And now, there's another problem too, one that could change the situation irreversibly. The Caspian Sea is flanked by Russia, Iran, Turkmenistan, Azerbaijan, and Kazakhstan. Each of them wants it. It's too large to ignore, too valuable to leave undefined, and too unusual to classify cleanly. It's salty, though not as salty as the ocean. It has waves, currents, and ecosystems that resemble a sea, but geographically it's trapped inside a continent. And that contradiction is where the problem begins. Millions of years ago, the Caspian wasn't isolated at all. It was part of a much larger ocean system stretching across what is now Europe and Asia. Tectonic shifts gradually sealed it off until the water that once connected to the world became trapped inland. What remained wasn't quite a lake and wasn't quite a sea. Water levels rose and fell, salinity shifted, shorelines moved, and that instability never really stopped. Long before modern borders existed, competing empires and local khans sought control. European leaders navigated political alliances and bribed local authorities to secure access to early oil wells and trade routes. Even in the 10th century, oil was being extracted for lighting, medicine, and industrial purposes. This set a pattern. Empires came and went, but no one maintained full control. That lack of a single controlling authority would define the region's future. In the Caspian, that pattern never broke. It just got more expensive. Fishing, especially sturgeon for caviar, faced overexploitation due to unclear governance. Without clear governance, overfishing quickly became a problem. Stocks declined, species were threatened. The pattern was simple. When rules are unclear, everyone takes as much as they can. And that pattern extended to resources far more valuable than fish. Oil and natural gas made the Caspian a prize long before modern energy demands. Control over this resource shaped regional and global interests, with Russia as the main European power having direct access. Russia is the one European country with access to the Caspian Sea, and as its territory grew, the region became of particular interest to it. Under Peter the Great, explorer Fyodor Soimonov mapped the sea, fueling trade and reinforcing Russian dominance, and that meant the arms race was on. In the end, the communists prevailed, and the Soviet Union gained control of the Caspian Sea. A new era of control had begun. Soviet dominance meant most of the Caspian was under centralized control. That left only Iran as an independent coastal state, navigating its own complex relations with global powers. Because as the oil goes, so goes the world. Control of Caspian oil meant power. The Soviet Union relied on these resources to compete globally, while the Cold War spurred rapid industrialization along the sea. Oil rigs, tankers, and infrastructure transformed the region. Environmental concerns were easily secondary to geopolitics. Soviet-era pipelines established both economic lifelines and legal complications that last even today. The network of oil conduits, ports, and storage hubs created the first modern blueprint for resource control. Even after independence, these infrastructures dictated which routes could be used, which states benefited most, and how international partners would negotiate access. And then it all came crashing down. With the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991, the Caspian's shores shifted dramatically. 15 states gained independence as Russia's territory shrank. Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan gained large portions of the Caspian's coastline. Russia retained access, but the sea was now tightly divided among newly developing states, each with urgent economic ambitions. People started eyeing the region with opportunistic eyes. Figures like future U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney highlighted the Caspian as one of the most important economic regions in the world. The emerging countries were ripe for Western influence as they tried to come out of Russia's shadow. Meanwhile, Soviet control shrank from 3,800 miles of coastline to just 464 miles. With all this at stake, tensions escalated. Everyone was jockeying for an advantage in a complex, high-value theater. The Caspian's status remained uncertain for decades. Early agreements, like the 1921 and 1940 Soviet-Iran treaties, became obsolete after the Soviet collapse, leaving the region's resources up for grabs. The classification question still remains, even to this day. It's believed that there are over 292 trillion cubic feet of natural gas buried under the Caspian Sea. That's enough to supply the US for nearly 9 years at current consumption levels, making it one of the largest unexploited reserves in the world. Russia and Iran have pushed the lake classification for the same reason they always have, as it locks out the 3 newer states. But if its classification changes, so does everything else. Classify it as a sea, and international law kicks in. Open access, shared resources, not one country controlling the seabed. Classify it as a lake, and the old Soviet-Iran framework carries more weight, divided between whoever has the strongest claim. That changes the rules of engagement entirely. And that's not what the power brokers want. Russia's economy has struggled ever since the war in Ukraine began, with the country being under heavy sanctions. That makes it more invested than ever in the resources offered by the Caspian. Iran, meanwhile, has been mired in conflict for the entirety of the Islamic Republic era. Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Azerbaijan all rely heavily on natural resources to make themselves regional power players. Every inch is being contested, and those inches can mean billions. Energy output is a high-stakes game. Azerbaijan produces roughly 60% of the Caspian's current oil. Decades of drilling and a strategic position along coastal islands has given it an advantage. The region's open market and resource wealth amplify tensions, and that makes conflict increasingly likely. Each state surrounding the Caspian has overlapping claims and frequent disputes. Azerbaijan in particular has found Iran and Turkmenistan eager to expand into what it defines as its territory. That could become even more difficult if the biggest project in the history of the Caspian Sea becomes reality. This leads to the Trans-Caspian Oil Transport System, a massive project to transport oil from Kazakhstan to Azerbaijan, and then directly to high-traffic hubs like the Black Sea or the Mediterranean. It would create an express route and transport up to 500,000 barrels a day initially. It represents a strategic energy alliance between nations leaning toward Western markets. This project's impact could be seismic. By bypassing traditional Russian and Iranian routes, it threatens to alter regional leverage when it comes to energy pricing and political influence. Environmental concerns are also significant. Undersea construction may disturb ecosystems while increasing tanker traffic, but the pipeline would leave other power players out in the cold. Both Russia and Iran have expressed their opposition to the project. It bypasses their influence and potentially shifts regional leverage toward Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan. Despite planning since 2005, logistical, political, and environmental hurdles have slowed progress. The project is largely unrealized, but still a focal point of tension. The uncertainty around this project amplifies the region's fragility. Every proposed route reshapes political, economic, and military calculations. The 2018 agreement settled surface rates and fishing access, but it left the seabed, where the real energy wealth sits, entirely unresolved. Beyond resources, strategic control is at stake too. Russia frames its arguments around environmental protection, but it also safeguards access through the Volga River and the Volga-Don Canal, while Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, and Turkmenistan are landlocked. And Russia's options for preventing this are shrinking by the day. For a while, Russia and Iran were the undisputed military powers in the region. Both have faced conflicts that drained forces, while former Soviet states have expanded their naval presence. Now, all 5 border states have a presence in the region. Any attempt to seize control would be met with military force. For now, all 5 claimants sit in an uneasy détente. With 5 different claims to the Caspian Sea, some countries have made separate agreements. Russia, Kazakhstan, and Azerbaijan all have bilateral agreements with each other based on median lines. No one gets exactly what they want, but everyone gets a little. Azerbaijan and Turkmenistan contest a shared field, though tensions remain mostly diplomatic. But the same can't be said for Iran. They take a more aggressive stance. The Islamic Republic has multiple low-intensity disputes in the Caspian. Azerbaijani reports of Iranian patrol boats firing on exploration vessels underscore this tension. Iran is playing hardball in negotiations as well. They're demanding a unified agreement between all 5 countries and an equal share of Caspian Sea rights. But there's still one massive elephant in the room. The seabed remains undetermined in terms of territory, and that's one of the richest sources of energy. The agreements cover only the simpler surface-level issues. Water ignores borders. 6 rivers cross international borders on the way to the Caspian, unlike the Volga, which is exclusively Russian territory. The Kura River flows through 3 countries, 2 of which, Georgia and Turkey, don't have borders with the Caspian Sea. That makes the process of transporting oil out of the sea even more complicated. Every alternative route brings different diplomatic combinations, and the future of all these countries might hang in the balance. The question of who owns the oil under the Caspian Sea has massive impacts on the global economy. Iran and Russia signed a deal that they thought gave them the edge, but shifting borders changed that. Right now, trillions of dollars remain under the seabed. Each country has a military presence in the region, but that doesn't guarantee dominance. Because they're not the only ones with a stake here. There's a silent 6th party in the room, and they might have the biggest investment. Because all these countries have made deals with oil processing companies like global conglomerates Shell and ExxonMobil, as well as regional powers like Lukoil. They've invested heavily, and a political shakeup could put those profits at risk. And that means, ironically, the current status quo could be the best for all parties concerned. When everyone has a stake, no one has control. 5 governments and 2 oil multinationals all benefit from the same unresolved question. That's why the classification dispute has lasted 30 years. The answer is worth too much to too many people. And so the delicate balance continues. For now, if a single nation gained dominance over the Caspian, restraints would vanish. Aggressive economic activities could lead to extinction for many species in the waters. A large percentage of the world's oil supply could be locked behind an economic alliance. But that may be changing in a way that can be seen from space. The Caspian Sea is shrinking. It's a slow but persistent threat. Between 2006 and 2024, water levels fell 6.5 feet to a record low of 95 feet below sea level. It's estimated it could see a fall of 59 feet this century. This would be a 25% drop in the sea's total area. As the surface level of the Caspian Sea shrinks, fishing will become harder. Even deep-sea oil drilling might struggle. The platforms are designed with the current sea level in mind. Complicating things even further, this change isn't happening equally. The northeastern sector of the Caspian, which belongs to Kazakhstan, is particularly vulnerable due to the shallow depth and its proximity to desert conditions. Kazakhstan's bustling energy sector makes up a large part of the country's economy. Oil and gas are constantly being transported out of the region, and this might be accelerating the water level erosion. But it's far from the only factor, and the big one won't be easy to solve. The Caspian Sea might ultimately fall prey to the crisis that's endangering bodies of water all across the globe. Climate change, rising temperatures, declining rainfall, and increased evaporation make it more difficult to replenish water. While the ocean levels are rising due to the melting ice caps, there's no such outlet for the Caspian Sea. Unlike oceans, the Caspian has no outlet. Life struggles, and human competition intensifies as water levels drop. Kazakhstan is the first nation to see its share of the Caspian Sea start to shrink. It won't be the last. That means more competition in the region. Economic, political, and ecological pressures are set to rise, and this will likely make the situation worse. A conflict between the nations that share the territory is almost inevitable, because when the pie shrinks, people always want their slice first. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more videos like this, then please consider subscribing and turn on notifications. It really does make a difference. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time on MapPack.